Aloha, and how's it? Today, we're talking all about how we can create more freedom in our businesses when we stop operating from this one limiting belief. And I know you're curious what it is, so more on that in a minute. How was your weekend? With the holidays right around the corner, I feel like you might see my kiddos in the background today. They're around a little bit more than usual. You might see them running around. And I was going to bring on my special guest, Michaela, today. She might pop in. So if she does, we'll pause and we'll talk to Michaela. She's asking for a YouTube channel and wants to learn how to do live. So we shall see. But now it is time for Mondays with Mindi. This is a weekly show at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, where I talk about all things LinkedIn pipeline, promo, and profiles, what I like to call the 3 Ps of LinkedIn. So do you have questions about LinkedIn that you want me to answer? Be sure to like this post, whether you're watching live or from the replay. Leave your questions below. I love answering them either after the show or on a future episode of Mondays with Mindi. Let's get to today's topic, though. It's a good one. How can you create more freedom in your business when you stop operating from this one limiting belief? If you're anything like many of the entrepreneurs I know, we're all about getting a real result for our businesses. That means we're on this never ending hunt for the one strategy that will give us that quantum leap, that shift in perspective that is exactly what we need to break through whatever obstacle is in our way right now. I'm guilty. I get excited when I see something like, oh, I could try that. Ooh, I should write a book. Ooh, I should start a podcast. Ooh, I should do TikToks. So we get that oh, shiny syndrome. So that latest and greatest marketing strategy or sales tactic must be the reason I am not seeing the results I want for my business. When we continue to leapfrog from this marketing tactic to that social platform to this social selling approach, we make absolutely no progress. And it's easy to get caught up in the activity of doing, that we forget the reason why we're doing what we're doing, what it's all for, and how it maps to our overarching objective to grow our business and increase our influence. All right, take a drink. If you truly want to create more freedom in your business and design your ideal lifestyle, then this one limiting belief has got to go. We're going to get a little bit personal with me today as we address the limiting belief that's holding so many of us back from creating an ideal business by our own design and what we can do to actually shift our perspective for success in 2022. All right, so aloha for those who don't know me. My name is Mindi Rosser. I'm the founder of Mindi Rosser Marketing, and I have a group program called the LinkedIn Accelerator for those who want to go from 0 to 60 on LinkedIn with their profile and their network. And I'll share the link at the end if you're interested and want to get on the 2022 waitlist. I help superstars who feel they are the best kept secret in their industry to become that go-to visible expert in their niche so they can get that next opportunity, grow their business, and scale their impact on LinkedIn. And in this live, we are going to talk about why you're not experiencing the freedom you hoped when you started your business and how this is leading you to get stuck in the grind of the day-to-day and what you can do right now to experience that quantum leap in 2022. Who doesn't love quantum leaps? Okay, I love them. So are you ready? Let's do this. Reminder to go ahead and like this post, whether you're live or watching from the replay, to give it some social love. All right, so have you ever caught yourself saying, there's just not enough time in the day or week to get it all done? I'm guilty, really guilty on that one. If you talk to my husband, he will tell you I've probably said that hundreds, maybe thousands of times. For several years, I felt that my biggest problem was time. And I used to complain about this. There was not enough time to build an audience, not enough time to get into my LinkedIn messages, not enough time to send connections to grow my network, or create a viable business plan to shift how I wanted to do business, or nurture existing relationships that would grow my business, or appear on podcasts, or guest lecture inside other business owners' memberships, or build, launch, and sell that group program I wanted to make, or even to create a weekly live stream like this. So I had all the excuses why I did not have the time to do any of those things. But really, I was too busy with my one-to-one clients, scheduling and preparing for calls that did not move anyone's objectives forward. And I did a lot of tasks that never moved the needle for me or for my clients. Sure, I was showing up consistently over time to do my job, but not at the level that was satisfying or allowed me to really shine and help people in a deeper way besides some menial task in a spreadsheet. Okay. So, about this time last year, I had just experienced, I would say, probably one of the biggest upsets of my career when LinkedIn made a change on the back end that disrupted my entire flow of what I did and how I help my clients. I lost about half of my clients, which dramatically impacted my income. I was terrified, to say the least. I was also in a business partnership that was not aligned with my vision for the future and did not operate by my own personal values. Plus, I had moved to the North Shore of this house where it cost 50% more to live than where I was on Oahu before. So I sat down with my husband and told him that I could no longer bank on being a six-figure freelancer and had to make a serious shift for my own well-being, my long-term career success, and to align with my deeper calling. He had gone all in to support me as a stay home dad earlier that year to allow me to focus all my work energy on my business and be here for me while I was trying to grow things. And I felt like in that moment that I had just let everyone down. It felt like my entire career was collapsing on me, my freedom, my time. I just didn't know what to do. And at that moment, I realized I had a very serious choice to make. There was no other option but to stop using the "I don't have time for this" excuse, my favorite one. I had to reinvent my relationship with time. I had to find another way besides just working myself into the ground for that short term cash flow, just taking on another client. It was time to build a business machine. For any of you who have already made this leap, you know how hard it is to simply give up that cushy client work where you just need to make enough things happen to keep your clients happy and recreate how you go about making money and what you have done for the last 5 to 10 years. What I did then is not going to serve me in what I'm doing now. So it takes a really serious mindset shift. And I know a lot of you are going through this because I've been getting your messages and you're like, Mindy, I want to leave my 9 to 5. I really want to figure this out. I want to go all in on my business, but I just am not making that revenue yet. So it takes giving up those limiting beliefs that you thought were serving you. So here's what happened for me. So where does it all begin if you want to shift your relationship with time to one that is more empowered, where time is abundant, where you can create that effortless flow with your days? No more rushing from pointless meeting to pointless meeting during the day. No more feeling guilty when you want to sneak away for a quick surf session because a client or business partner might just ping you on Slack and expect an immediate response. You must start treating every single decision that you make as if you are already a seven-figure CEO, because you already are. Whether or not you have the revenue to prove it, when your mindset shifts, you are that seven-figure CEO. You are in the making of that. So I learned this concept from James Wedmore. Highly recommend checking out his Mind Your Business podcast if you want to learn from the master. But I started making shifts in my day-to-day business life. So I learned how to set appropriate boundaries with my former business partner and stop working for free on initiatives that I knew had no legs beneath them. I stopped feeling stressed out about those Slack pings throughout the day. I also, if you saw my phone here, it is on silent all day long. So I never ever hear a text message ever. And it is like the most fantastic thing. Like my husband does get a little irritated if I don't respond fast enough. But besides that, it's so nice not to be like interrupted all day long. I only do calls with prospects or clients on 2 days per week. So I set aside 2 other days for guest appearances and live streams like this one. And I have a full day of offstage work. So it's like my schedule now works for me. I don't have calls every day, all day at weird times. But it took me changing my beliefs around time first. This did not happen overnight. I took one small action towards implementing this new belief in my life until it became a habit. So I started with one thing at a time. They didn't all happen at the same time. I didn't shift everything. It was like, okay, let me see if I could do one day a week without calls. Let's see how that would feel. What if I just turned off my Slack when I was finished with my work for that client for the day? As long as I'm checking it frequently enough, everything should be fine. It was also training my clients how to treat me. So when some clients just really like to use the phone and call me, I don't pick up. If we don't have a scheduled call and it's not an emergency, I just listen to the voicemail and I respond via email. And by doing those types of things, they are setting boundaries that allow me to have the space I need to create this new business model that works better for me. And that gives me so much more freedom. So, yes, I had to exit that business partnership because it no longer served either of us once I set those healthy boundaries. And yes, I had to experience a number of setbacks related to putting more energy into creating a scalable business model that can help people more effectively than I ever could just by doing it for people. But looking back on 2021, I made the right choice. I learned how to build a business machine, and it's starting to pay off big time. So, what people didn't see when all of this was happening, what goes on behind the scenes, I had this shift in belief that had to happen to make this possible. Time is not the enemy, contrary to what we are told, contrary to these people that are in the hustle culture saying, I have 3 work days in my day. I work from, as soon as I get up in the morning, I take a breather, I work another day, I take a breather, and I work all night. That is not sustainable. Not for most of us. And I don't think many of us want that type of life. We want to have a balance of all the things we enjoy in the day. And to do that, we are responsible for crafting our day. So time is not the enemy, it is abundant. And it's time to reinvent our relationship with time. No pun intended. So here are 5 things that we can do now to create more freedom in our businesses. And I like to talk about it because as we are approaching the new year, many of you are solidifying your goals. I just finished mine yesterday. I'm so excited. I'm that weird person that's running around the house saying, I just finished my annual planning, wanting to show it off to everyone, 58 pages of this PDF later, spreadsheets of business projection revenue, all of that fun stuff. So it's really not as difficult as we think to fix our relationship with time, especially when we are committed and motivated to implement just one thing at a time. So I'm going to give you 5 ideas. I would pick one and start with that. Don't overwhelm yourself if you're like, Mindy, this is a biggie for me. I'm really struggling. Just pick one of these 5. All right. So first one, choose one overarching goal for the year. So we like to think that we can do it all simultaneously, especially us entrepreneurial types. When we're starting out with a new to us business model, we're like, oh, but I have to do a podcast. I have to do a live stream. I have to do YouTube. Oh, I need to do TikTok. They keep telling me I need to do TikTok. And oh, there's stories on Instagram that I got to do as well. And I really should be guesting. There are all of these things that we could do. And it's easy to overwhelm ourselves with them. The key here is not getting into the overwhelm. You pick one shift that you want to make during the year for your business and you choose one next action, such as like a course, a tactic, a strategy that will get you closer to that goal. Sometimes they work out better than you hoped. You're like, oh, I'm keeping that one. That was a great tactic, a great strategy, a good course. And sometimes they completely flop. All right. To be honest, not all of them work as we want them to. The key is to keep an eye on your overarching goal for the year, and you adjust your strategy when something does or does not work. The more times you do this, the faster you're going to be able to test ideas, test strategies, test a tactic to know if they have a chance of working well for you. For example, I am on a mission to build a business that allows me more time freedom and also has higher leverage one-to-many offers as the basis of my business income. So everything that I'm doing this year, everything that I've done last year maps to this strategy. I'm like dead set on building this business. I'm dead set and helping people get more impacts better than my done for you services. So my goal is I never waver from this overarching goal unless it's absolutely necessary. So if I try something and it completely flops and I know it wasn't just user error or just something I need to be consistent with, I push it aside and I try something new. I test a new hypothesis. And this is really, really important, but still, my goal is not changing. I'm still building that same type of business model. So I think a lot of us, we start with the goal. We're like, okay, that's what I want to do. We try this. Oh, that didn't work. Maybe I'll switch my business model. It's like, no, our overarching goal, if you're really focused on changing your business model, that is the goal. Your tactics and strategies may change, but your goal does not change unless absolutely necessary. Okay, number 2, you set boundaries around when people can book a time to chat with you. This may sound very simple to some of you. You're like, Mindy, I've already figured this out. For most of us, it's not so simple. I mentioned a little about this earlier when I talked about setting boundaries. One mistake a lot of, I would say, newcomers make when they're trying to get initial business, they're like, "Ah, I just need to close some deals," is that there's a lot of laxity around their calendars. It's way too easy to get on people's calendars. So letting anyone and everyone have access to your calendar without actually pre-qualifying them is a recipe for disaster, especially as you start to grow. And even in the early days, you're like, Mindy, but I'm lucky to get one call a week with a potential prospect. Well, first of all, we can fix that. Second of all, you can use all of that other time to actually work on your offers, to build relationships that haven't led to a call yet. There are a lot of other ways to use your time, but if your calendar is just open, who knows when that time slot is going to happen? It could happen at the wrong time for you. So before I let anyone have my Calendly link, I assess what type of opportunity this is going to be for me and how it might be advantageous for us both. To me, it's not a good idea to have a call if it's not going to make either of us more money or grow our audiences or provide a return on our time. So I don't hand out my calendar link, even when people ask for it, and I want to be nice, because whenever I make this mistake of handing it out to someone who just wants to get to know me, it doesn't tend to end up well because I feel like I cater to someone else's whim without providing a clear cut benefit to both of us. So for me, that conversation has to be a win win. It needs to be a short amount of time so we get what we need to get done, it needs to be efficient. So I protect my calendar at all costs. I'm really a stickler for the times of day that I let people talk to me, for the times that my calendar is available, because it needs to be the time when I am in the right frame of mind, not when it's just convenient for them. So it's okay to protect your calendar if you're the type of person who needs a lot of creative space to do his or her best work, or if you just want to protect it for yourself. You're like, Tuesdays and Wednesdays for these 4-hour blocks, I'm available. The rest of the time, I'm not available. Okay. So don't feel guilty around that. All right. Number 3, create a support network of people who are on a similar journey. I don't know about you, but I used to consider myself a pioneer who didn't need anyone else's help to achieve my goals. Like I thought I was like just this superstar. I can get it all done. I'm accountable to myself. I do my weekly reviews. I don't need anyone. So I thought I could just take a course, read a book, listen to a podcast, and implement without ever having accountability or group support. The one thing I learned over this past year was that I need and enjoy certain types of interactions in business and professional communities on a weekly basis, especially since I'm pretty much a solopreneur with a very small team. I'm not engaging with a lot of other people inside my business already. I don't have a lot of other meetings. So for me, I need to meet with people. I need to hear other ideas. I want to get inspired. So it was building that into my calendar. So I have an accountability pod that I meet with every Tuesday morning to share about wins, challenges, struggles, brainstorm ideas, and everything in between. And I missed our meetings for a few weeks this fall, and I definitely felt the negative impact it had on me. I was kind of surprised, to be honest. I'm also an active member in like 3 to 5 professional organizations at any given time. And this is where I can get coached, get inspired by other business leaders on a similar journey. And I will say it is the best investment I have made in myself this past year. It was really opening myself up socially in that professional sense to engage with others on a similar path. When you're in a box in a cave, whatever metaphor you want to use, kind of hiding from the rest of the world, just doing your work and planning to launch your business, planning to do whatever it is, you're not getting feedback, you're not getting inspiration, you're not networking, you're not able to grow to that same potential as if you just added in a little bit in doses. I mean, even if it's just an hour or two a week that you are going and meeting with other people online in communities, people on the same journey. You don't have to do it all alone. Find your tribe and engage with them. All right, so number 4, you take a drink. Invest in professional development tools to experience those quantum leaps. I love quantum leaps. I like growing. I like going fast. If you know any of the titles of my programs, the LinkedIn Accelerator, I have another one called Velocity. Very excited about that one that's coming too. They're all about speed. Like I like quantum leaps, I like going places fast. And on the topic of professional development, I believe we must all keep learning or we are going to stop growing and fail to reach our full potential as leaders. And these quantum leaps happen from time to time, and we have to invest in ourselves to make them happen. So this year, I spent tens of thousands of dollars in tools, programs, and experiences that helped me to reconfigure my business. And I plan to continue doing that practice moving forward. I have seen so many results, both professionally, both personally, how I've evolved as a human. These investments, when they're chosen well, are worth far more than their weight in gold. And I expect whenever I'm signing up for a new program, I expect to receive a 10 to 100 times return on my investment every time I sign up for a new program. And so should you. You choose wisely, you figure out who can teach you what you need to know to grow to that next level. And you're not afraid to invest your time and money in yourself. It will pay off, especially when you're choosing well. Do your homework. All right. And lastly, choose one, just one sales and marketing platform to go all in on during the year. This is a big one because many of us still try to be everywhere on all the platforms because we're told it's really easy to repurpose your content to make it all happen. So you should just be everywhere. So we have this FOMO, like the fear of missing out around what is going to happen if we are not everywhere and we're not repurposing all our content. We're not posting on all the channels. So I caution you to pick one primary sales and marketing platform that you do a lot of upfront due diligence on to be sure your people are there and they like to engage there around your topic. Those are very, very important. I've had people say, well, my people are there, but there's no way that they're going to engage around my topic, on that platform. So you have to make sure they are there and they're ready to engage around your topic on that platform. And then you invest as much as you can into that one platform for a full year. Then decide if you need to even go elsewhere. Many of my clients and program members stick with just LinkedIn, and they discover they don't really need to use all the other platforms to get the results they want. And boom, saving tons of time, money, and resources. Like, okay, I'm going all in on LinkedIn. Yeah, maybe I'll do a little Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, a little bit of that here and there. But really, like their main focus is just LinkedIn. Okay. So that's all 5. We covered a lot today. So let me go through them briefly. Choose one overarching goal, set boundaries around your time, create a support network of people on a similar journey, invest in professional development tools, and then choose one sales and marketing platform for 2022. We covered a lot today, and I am curious, what additional questions do you have about creating more freedom in your business, in your personal life? Leave them below in the comments or shoot me a private message. I love talking about this. It's something that really gets me going because as much as I want to see people have success in their professional lives, it's also important to me to help people create their own lifestyle by design. And if your professional life is not contributing to your lifestyle, something has got to change. You've got to make a different move. You've got to figure out a better way to go about it. And I'm always happy to exchange ideas around that. If you're looking for that extra edge to get you started on the right path with using LinkedIn, next year in 2022, get on the wait list for the next cohort of the LinkedIn Accelerator. We are kicking off right at the beginning of January, so you don't want to miss it. Get on the wait list here. It's tailored to take you through all of the sections on your LinkedIn profile in just 5 days flat. 1 week, and you're off to the LinkedIn races to start growing your network and getting those business conversations. So if you're interested, here's the link to get on the wait list and find out a few more details. I will see you all next week on Mondays with Mindy, the last one of the year before the holidays are all the way finished. So feel free to leave questions or comments below. My inbox is open if you want to message me directly. I will see you then.